It's Armageddon. A furry monkey devil is killing all our flock.
Hello and welcome to another bad movie review. This time we are looking at Crackcoon. This is a 2024 film, runs about 88 minutes, directed by Twigg. So the movie starts out with some crackheads looking to score, and they run into Denny the drug dealer. He's got some new super crack for the two crackheads, and he's willing to give it to them at a cheap price. It's orange, and they keep commenting how it looks like candy. Well, you would think maybe there's something funny going on here with this designer drug, but nah. Danny's giving him a good deal, and he has this cool gold-plated teeth, so, I mean, why wouldn't you trust him? Of course, the drug makes people go kind of crazy, so they go psycho and kill people with their crack pipes. And that happens more than once, shockingly. Well, we get the first kill this way, and it's before the opening credits, so that was pretty fun. I did like how the opening credits had sort of a grindhouse feel to it, because this movie kind of, in a way, has that same sort of over-the-top, silly feeling to it. Like, everybody in the film is taking it pretty seriously, but it's definitely not a straight-up horror film. It's got a lot of comedic elements, so it's a horror comedy, or horror-omedy, for those of you that remember that term. Some more crackheads try the new designer drug. There's some conversation between two morticians about it, because they're doing autopsies. There's a really cool orange eye effect that's done when the crackheads do the drug, and that actually worked really well. I thought that could have been really cheesy if they had skipped on it a little bit, but the budget apparently allowed for a little bit of CGI and special effects, which is pretty impressive since this was largely a Indiegogo, I believe. I couldn't find how much the budget was, but it couldn't have been a whole lot. I was wondering while I was watching this for the first 20 minutes or so if they budgeted for all the tang they were using, because there's this like orange liquid people keep barfing up and is around their eyes, and it had to have been more than a few dollars to do that. So I was curious if they just budgeted for that or if they just came up with that on the fly. Either way, it looked pretty cool. The movie starts to really get rolling around the 20-minute mark when Denny and his boyfriend are about to be pulled over on their way to do a drug deal with some college kids. They end up having to toss the drugs out into the woods around a bend where the cops can't quite see, and of course this kicks off all the shenanigans. Now, interestingly, when the police pull them over, the cruiser says Shinston Police, and now this does take place in West Virginia, and I think that is a real town, I'm not sure, but their uniforms say Mount Pleasant, so I'm not sure why the Mount Pleasant police would be in the Shinston car. That's a little weird, but whatever. It's a minor complaint in an otherwise pretty flawless, epic film, right? Well, Denny and his boyfriend manage to get going with things, and they go to get the crack back, and a raccoon has opened the bag with its teeth and stolen the bag of drugs. I'm not sure why it used its mouth when raccoons have little hands, but again, there's a raccoon running around during the daytime, and that means it's probably a rabbit anyway, so who knows what a rabid raccoon would do. I don't know if that's something they knew about when they were making the movie, but raccoons aren't normally around during the daytime. They're sleeping. They're nocturnal animals. So if you see one during the day, it's likely sick. But, you know, that's one of those things you overlook for the sake of the plot. And the puppet thing they were using for the raccoon was hilarious looking, so I'm more than willing to overlook it. There are a couple of really funny kills in here with some really hilarious dialogue, and that doesn't stop for the rest of the movie. It's pretty much just a bloodbath from here on out. If a character's introduced, they're likely going to die. And I did like that everybody in the film is pretty much an over-the-top stereotype. They didn't really hold back on anything. So you've got the hillbillies, and you've got gay drug dealer and his boyfriend, and you've got the college kids that are out partying, and the angry married couple, that sort of thing. It really played well into the stereotypes just to make fun of everybody, and it worked out really, really well. There is a fun scene with some religious zealots, which are lecturing one guy on his love of heavy metal, and one of the guys that's helping to judge him and hold him down has an AC/DC tattoo. So there's a little bit of irony in that. Unless he's just a big fan of alternating current and direct current. And we do get some really funny lines in that scene too, especially about Ronnie James Dio. One death does take place off camera. We hear it happening, but we don't actually see it. And largely that is not the case in this film. Most of the time people are directly attacked by the Crackcoon and blood sprays on everybody. Like they must have gotten some industrial strength sprayer for that, because it was hosing people down pretty good. And that kind of added to the comedy value of the film for me, because it was so ludicrously over the top. It wasn't just a gore fest for the sake of having gore. It was actually for comedic effect, I think, in several scenes, and that worked out really well. They make reference to several other things as well. You've got a mention about a gnome, a Bigfoot, and Mothman. And it's West Virginia, so the Mothman reference fits. Now, I don't want to give away the ending of the film, but it does have a resolution, and you think it's probably just a one and done film, but apparently there is a sequel in pre-production, according to IMDb, which I hope it does get made, because this movie was crazy. There are a fair amount of recognizable B-movie actors, some of whom have been in movies we've covered before. Jessa Flux was in Bigfoot Exorcist and Shark Exorcist 2. Angel Nichole Bradford, who plays Denise in here, was also in Shark Exorcist 2. And there are some other recognizable people like John Russo. Now, there were some standout performances in here that I thought were exceptional. And that's Chris O'Braki, who played the drug dealer Denny, and Justin Martin, who played Frankie. They had great on-screen performances, and most of the cast did too. I thought it was a really fun film. Everybody was pretty solid B-movie actors, and Angel Nichole Bradford was nice enough to show the goods, as was Morrigan Thompson-Milam. So I counted 21 kills on screen, and the one guy in the bathroom that we heard but didn't actually see. 3 plots, 1 solid Lady Garden scene with 1 possible quick scene as well. 2 taillights with another really brief one that was barely a second. So a fair amount of B-movie plot points, standard issue, and yeah, one scene dragged out quite a while too, and even was involved in a death. So that's a surprise for watching it. Overall, I have to say this movie surprised me. I did not think it would be nearly as smartly written as it was. The pacing was really solid. I never got bored. It had a couple of points where it started to slow down, but it picked right up again. A really high body count. I mean, 21 kills is generally pretty hard to pull off in less than an hour and a half, but this movie did it with good pacing and a lot of over-the-top kills. So I was really surprised with this, and considering it was incredibly low budget, I think they made good use of what they had to work with, and it definitely had some really memorable dialogues, really quotable lines. So this is good, solid cheese that I'm absolutely going to recommend. A lot of normies are not going to get this. People that are new to B movies might not quite get what they were going for here, but if you're a regular fan of cheese films, this is definitely solid Gouda for you, for the soul. I really can't recommend this one enough. It's a nice horror-comedy with a lot of potential to be a cult classic. So smartly written, pretty fun B-movie actors, and an interesting premise that, yeah, it might be taking off the popularity of Cocaine Bear, but this definitely has a lot more going on than Cocaine Bear did as far as innovation. Most of the Cocaine Bear knockoffs are lacking a little something. It's sort of like a cash grab in a lot of cases, but this one had a really fun premise that was executed really well, and a significantly more fun puppeteering. There is a little bit of CGI in here, and that made really good use of that, but the puppet, or whatever the thing was that they were using for the raccoon, was hilarious. It really gave it kind of that cracked out raccoon look, and the actors holding the thing while it attacked them was hysterical. Now, there is some warnings for the more sensitive viewers out there. There is drug use in the film, obviously, and that should probably be expected. And there are some very off-color jokes, some racial jokes, some abortion jokes, that sort of thing, that might be a little too much for the more delicate viewers out there. But it's still a great B-movie, and because it doesn't hold back on being offensive to pretty much everybody, I think it works in its favor. So I'm absolutely absolutely looking forward to the sequel, and I'm definitely going to recommend this for any B-movie fan. But that is going to do it for this episode. Thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the episode, please hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future reviews. If you'd like to help the channel out in other ways, links are in the description for various support methods, and as always, we hope to see you on the next one.